I'm very excited for your story.
Yeah.
You
I'm
have
excited to tell it.
5 years of prison, and
Yeah.
you weren't in a camp.
I was not in a camp. A lot of people think the feds, it's like the easy time, you're playing tennis and all that. Especially since I was out in California. It's kind of it's violent out there. It's very political. I wasn't in the worst prison, but I wasn't at a camp.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
So your story starts in Long Island, New York. That's where you're from, Franklin Square.
That's right.
What was early childhood like, and did you have any siblings?
I have one stepsister. My older sister, to me, it's my sister,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's my mother's child from a previous marriage. She divorced him, married my father. It's my sister,
Mm-hmm.
right? Childhood, a lot of people can blame their childhood and their parents and all that. Not me. I had an amazing childhood. I didn't want for anything. Family, holidays, cousins, Sunday dinners, Italian family, so it was great. I didn't, that has nothing to do, I want to point that out, that has nothing to do with my addiction,
Mm-hmm.
it was awesome. Growing up in the last of a generation that we came home when the lights came on, right? We went outside in the morning. We spent 90% of the day outside. The other 10% we were trying to get outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was it. There was no iPads. There was none of that nonsense, So I grew up very active, played sports. My father brought me to my sports. My mother and father were in the stands, played baseball, wrestling through high school. Just a good regular childhood. I did great in school, right? As I got to high school, things changed because I started experimenting with drugs, right? Early on in life, 12 years old, smoking pot, right? For no other reason, but I just didn't say no, right? Like I had wanting to be a part of, wanting to be with the cool kids, early on, and seeing them and wanting to be part of them, So that's why I said yes, and it just became we don't know what real fun is at that age. We think fun is, for me, it was getting high, getting blackout drunk, if you did have a job, you spent all your money on Friday night on using and drinking, right? And it was such, looking hindsight, it was such a waste of time. We waste so much time in our developmental years, right? Blunting our brains, right? When we should be focusing on setting up our future and enjoying it as we age. Wait till you're 30, then have fun, right? That's what I'm going to try to do with my kids, get them to understand that, because all of a sudden, so many years go by. So
one of the biggest struggles I had when I first got sober, and honestly, even years into sobriety, was my sleep. My mind would not shut off. I could do all the right things during the day, but if I didn't sleep, I was groggy all day and everything felt much harder. I started paying attention to the small details in my routine, especially what I was actually sleeping in. That's when I found Cozy Earth. Their bedding, specifically their sheets and comforter, has been a game changer. Their products are breathable, temperature regulating, and super soft. It literally feels like you're sleeping on a cloud. I fall asleep faster and I stay asleep longer. That alone has changed the way I show up on a day-to-day basis. If you're working on your mental health, your recovery, or just want better rest, don't underestimate the small comforts in life. Cozy Earth makes it easy to bring softness and intention into your everyday routine. Go to CozyEarth.com and use my code RISEABOVE for up to 20% off. There's a post-purchase survey. Let them know you heard about it right here. Well-being lives in the everyday. Start with the small moments that nurture your calm.
I'm in high school. I'm using. It wasn't my shoulder surgery that got me onto pills, because I was already using opiates, right? When oxys were coming out, I was using. It started with Percocet, right? The 10 milligram Percocets.
And that was from surgery?
No.
Okay, that was just before surgery.
The first
Got
ones I
it.
took Sorry, Mom. I took them out of the medicine cabinet, right?
Mm,
And drank with them behind the dugout of my high school on that. I remember these things now.
of course.
Taking a couple of them. Then as that progressed, I got my shoulder surgery, right? I tore my rotator cuff. I have a giant scar here. They give you all the pills in the world, right?
How old are you when you have the shoulder surgery?
I'm already now, I'm 17.
Okay.
So
Oh 04?
03.
Oh 03, 04.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. 03, 04.
Okay.
03. I graduated in 04.
Yep.
So right around that time, I get the shoulder surgery. It was the reason why I got the shoulder surgery is because I was wrestling, playing baseball in the same season, not stretching, rushing to practice. You know how it goes,
Mm-hmm.
right? So yeah, 03, 04. And then I start working. So okay, let's bring it back a notch. Before my shoulder surgery, I want to move back a little bit. I think we moved a
Yeah,
little too fast.
you're good.
I start selling drugs, right? Because I want to be, like I said, I want to be part of, right? I didn't have a job. Like my first job was 12 years old, working in an upholstery shop. My father got me. So I learned how to work, right? Like I had a good work ethic. But then like Franklin Square, New York was like everybody was using in the high school, right? Everybody was getting high. Everybody I knew, and smoking weed. At first it started with buying a little bit of extra weed to smoke for free, right? And then it becomes, wow, I'm making all this money fast, right? Next thing you know, it graduates to cocaine. I'm snorting cocaine in high school, right? Like literally during school, and so, and again, my addiction, I want to point this out too. I know now is my fault. It's because of the choices I made. I made the bad choices, right? But I was very influential at that age, like we all are, right? I grew up watching the mobster movies, the Goodfellas, the Blow. These movies were what we did for fun too. Like, let's watch the movies and get high, right? Like that's what we did. And it was very influential to a man like me because I'm Italian. My uncle was taking numbers on Sunday, running out of church. He was a bookie, so it was just like very influential for me, So I thought that I grew up. The working man's a sucker. Why do I want to go to work? I don't want to go to work, right? Like I wanna. I was not just addicted to the drugs. I didn't want to work from a young age. I was like, I just want to have fun. I want to enjoy my life, right? So that's where that led. And
Dude, Henry Hill from Goodfellas.
yeah.
Like it was quick, easy money.
Yeah.
That like you don't have to work that hard. You can make
That's
this
right.
kind of money. He's selling
That's
cocaine.
right.
He's running around with bricks of
That's
cocaine.
right.
And the life, it's glorified.
It's glorified.
And it's crazy because we don't realize how influential movies, music is to us when we're at a young age.
Everything. Right? Yeah. Super influential. And it drove my core values, right? It drives your core values. And I believed that that's what I wanted to do, right? So on top of that, my older sister, again, everything's my fault, but she was dating drug dealers at the time, right? So I was able to get in with her boyfriend who was providing me with a great cocaine connect. So I went from like this nobody to all of a sudden I had the best cocaine in high school. And the older people were calling me, the younger people, everybody was calling me, right? And I'm getting an ounce for $600 that I'm cutting in half, making it into 2 ounces and selling $70 grams, So they actually came a point when I remember my mother, she's like, you need a job. And I was like, no, I don't, to me, but I had to appease her. I'm living in her house. She brings me to Boston Market. So I start working out. I get a job at Boston Market, right? I'm answering phones and I have people coming into Boston Market getting a half a chicken or a whole chicken in the bathroom, right? I just tell them, text me half a chicken or whole chicken, and I'm selling cocaine out of the bathroom in Boston Market, So, again, it was just, there was no consequence yet. So why stop? I get a job at So now I graduate high school, right? And I go to Nassau Community College.
But you had already had the shoulder surgery.
That case. Right after that, had the shoulder surgery.
What did they prescribe you for the shoulder surgery?
So they were giving me Roxy 30s.
Oh my
right?
God.
They gave me Roxy 30s, and
Yeah.
in heaven, in heaven, why stop? On top of that, so I go to college, right? Business administration. I'm not even paying attention, right? Like I'm not even paying attention. And mind you, I did great in high school. Like I was the type of kid that was cutting class and acing my tests. Like I didn't have to study. I did really well. For some reason, I was able to retain the information and I did well, right? When most of my friends were getting held back, I was just acing tests. So again, no consequence. I'm not failing. Everything's going great. Why should I stop, right? So I go to college. I'm still selling cocaine. I end up dropping out, right? I didn't drop out just because I was selling drugs. I got a job at a mortgage company, right? High pressure, boiler room mortgage company when everybody's on opiates and cocaine, everybody in the room, right? And I'm making, not only am I selling drugs, I'm selling drugs there, but I'm making $1,000, $2,000 a week as a 17, 18-year-old kid. Why am I going to college, right? Why am I going to college, right? And that's, we get blinded by the fast money, right? When it's the slow and steady, the tortoise wins the race, right? All the time, right? I tell my son that now. The tortoise wins the race, not the rabbit. And so I drop out of. That's when I drop out of college, and this is the time now when my parents decide to move to Florida. Okay. So this is 2006. So 2 years after high school, 2006, we moved to Florida, Port St. Lucie, right? Nothing there for me, right? Oh, I want to point out too at this time that I got sober. I had white knuckled it, stopped using, very short period of time. I'm talking about 3 and 4 months sober.
I mean, that's a good amount of time.
I went through the withdrawals. I knew I was moving. My father had pointed out to me, and this was a very pivotal crossroad in my life, and I chose the wrong road. He pointed out to me, because my father was a bodybuilder. I think I should have pointed that out. My father was a Long Island Railroad engineer, bodybuilder, won Mr. New York in the 80s. Great physical condition. Didn't use any drugs or alcohol. My mother, the same thing, straight edge, didn't use anything. Super good parents. That's why I had such a good childhood.
Yeah.
And at this time, he had told me, because I didn't want to move. He told me, Evan, come with us. All you got to do is come to the gym with me. Come to the gym with me. You don't got to go to work. You don't got to do nothing, at least for 6 months. Just hang out, get healthy, right? I should have listened. That was like a huge pivotal moment in my life when I was just bored. Port St. Lucie is like especially in 2006, bro, it was the most boring place on earth to me.
Yeah, there's nothing happening in PSL.
Dude, now it's awesome.
Now it's great.
Like I should have gotten in shape, got a job, bought a house.
Oh.
I'd be set right now.
Buy 5 houses.
Yeah, I'd be set right now. So things get crazy because I decide, my sister, again, I wanted to get out of Port St. Lucie. She told me, I know somebody down in Boca who's running you have mortgage experience. They're working for a mortgage company. They can get you a job. I said, awesome. I put on a suit. I got in the car. I went down there and I got the job. Great guy, Mike Benhayen, I'll never forget, gave me an opportunity, gave me a place to live. Like I was able to move to Boca. I'm living in not the penthouse, but like level 4 of a huge high rise, the Boca Grande in Boca, like a 20-year-old's dream.
Yep.
Right? I'm sorry. I was about 19 at the time. Dream. I started doing drugs again. Immediately. Cocaine, partying, drinking, partying. I'm away from my family, right?
People, places, and things, just being around. Yeah.
Oh, dude, if you're there, I never said no at this point, right? It seems so easy today to say no. But then it was just, I didn't say no. right? You never said no at that age, right?
Mm-mm.
Why would you say no? That's because to me, that's what fun was. So that's like such a huge thing in my life today. I try to tell, like, because I try to help a lot of people on these lives I do and stuff. And I tell them, you have to find out what fun is for you, right? Because we get lost in that. So I'm
But
here.
also,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
not
Yeah,
to
no,
cut you
no,
off,
keep going.
but this is important because I went through this.
I need questions.
And no, not even just acknowledgments of like when you're in your early 20s and you're now starting at this mortgage company in Boca,
Yep.
you're proving yourself
Yep.
to these guys.
Yep.
And it's not a knock on them by any means, but you're also trying to fit in there as well. And you're also, so I used to take clients out in advertising sales early on in my career. I tried getting sober 22, 23, 24, 25, and I couldn't do it because I felt like I had to fit in by going out with clients and drinking and taking them out and showing them a good time to get the business.
That's what you did for a good time.
Exactly.
Right?
It was good time / proving myself / my job.
And every celebration includes alcohol.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
Every celebration in my life up to this, even to that point, was included poison, drugs, or alcohol. Right? These terrible things that the elite aren't doing. You know, it's for they want us to be addicted, working in factories. That's another topic. But that's another topic. But that's the truth. These things are made for the poor to keep us down. Alcohol and drugs. So you're right. At that point, we're all going out. The owner of the company is doing cocaine. Of course I'm doing cocaine, right? What do you mean? Of course, because I see his Mercedes. I see everything he's got going on. Why am I not going to do these things, right? So everything's going well at this point. So I'm still making money. I'm not have zero consequences, right? I'm making money. I'm still using. I end up getting a different job. Okay, this is important too. One of my friends says, "Hey, you are great at what you do. You're a salesman at heart. I have somebody opening up a company called American Financial Solutions, right? His name is Lou Gallo, right? And he needs somebody to run his floor." I said, "Let me meet him." I meet this guy. Big, fat, gold chain, unbuttoned shirt, hairy chest, ankle bracelet on, and showing it, right? Big guy from New Jersey coming down here. I was immediately attracted to all that. Everything he had going on, I was like, I'm working for this dude, right? That he's smoking a cigar, lived in Parkland Golf and Country Club, I'm all in. Terrible, terrible decision. So this is my first taste. So at first it's legit. We're selling mortgages. Then it becomes fraud, blatant identity theft, blatant fraud, literally putting straw buyers on houses, creating fake loans, fake documents. He has me. Now, I've never done anything like this in my life, but again, I don't say no at this point, right? I'm staying up all night in the office, snorting cocaine with and this is old school, so it's like Photoshop and the Xerox copier, making fake documents and all that. We're doing it, and he's paying me really well. Some weeks I'm making $5,000. At this age, I'm doing great, right? My father. So there was a day, this is important to my story. There was a day that my radiator blew in my car. My dad fixed anything he could fix. He could build the entire house from the bottom up, last of a generation that can do that. Kids today don't know how to change their oil. Legit. I know I change mine and my fiance's oil every time, and I take pride in it. Kids today have no idea how to do it. So anyways, I say, "Dad, my radiator blew. Come down here, right? Come down, help me out." No problem, Evan. He was there in a heartbeat. So he gets the radiator, comes back. I said, "Dad, I want to introduce you to somebody," right? Lou Gallo and my father meet. Long story short, Lou Gallo goes back upstairs. My father tells me, "Evan, get away from this guy immediately. I'm telling you right now, I don't like him. He's bad news." Ah, shut up, Dad. You come on, Dad. What do you mean? I'm doing great. I'm making money. I'm not asking you for nothing. I didn't ask my family wasn't supporting me at this time. So everything was great. Um, this is still early on. This is 2007, late 2007. This is all fast. This is all the thing I told you from Florida is within 2 years. Uh, December 2007, December 23rd. I spoke to my father, right? I was coming home for Christmas, right? I spoke to him on the phone. He says, Ev, everything good? Yeah, I was coming home the following week. We were gonna go. I was coming home for Christmas, and I was gonna stay home for the week. We were supposed to go to Cape Canaveral to see the what do you call it? The spaceship take off. It was awesome, right? Um, I spoke to my dad. He was happy. I love you. Boom. I get a call the next morning. My mother hysterical, right? Evan, you got to get here now. Daddy got hurt. What are you talking about, Mom? What are you talking about? Come home, right? I get in the car with my sister. My sister. I'm staying with my sisters. We're staying together at the time. I get in the car doing 100 miles an hour. We have no idea what's going on. I get a phone call from a police officer on the way there. Your father's dead. So I'm like, what are you talking about? What's going on? No, no, I'm speeding. He's like, oh, you driving? Of course I'm driving. Just tell me. My mother gets back. I hang up. I'm driving. My mother calls back. He's alive. He's alive. I'm like, what is going on? And I get there. My father gets airlifted to some hospital in Port St. Lucie. I don't know the name. Whatever. It's irrelevant. So the story of my father is this. So he survived. Okay, he's in the hospital, but let me tell you what happened, right? My father was a world-class bodybuilder. I told you. He did experiment with steroids when he was younger, right? He every male goes through menopause as well. Your testosterone drops, right? After you're 30 years old, your testosterone tanks, right? Everybody, you, me, we all do it. But especially somebody that has taken and androgenic steroids, right? So his testosterone dropped to the floor, but he didn't know it. He was the type of guy that didn't go to the doctor, was super healthy, never ate a French fry. Just the guy had the body of a 25-year-old. So what happened was I found out later on he was going through a depression. That morning, my mother woke up. Before I tell you that, uh, my mother convinced him to go to a doctor. Tells the doctor what's going on. Doctor says, you're not depressed. You're just from New York. Take this Ambien, you'll be able to sleep fine, right? So he takes the Ambien for 4 nights. On the 4th night, he woke up and killed himself. He woke up and slit his throat, slit both of his wrists. My mother says she woke up and he was in the living room, sitting in the chair, eyes rolled back behind his head, like in a sleep. It's a hypnotic sleep medication, right? You've heard of Ambien stories, right? We all have. People are killing people in their sleep and waking up in prison, from vehicular homicide. So he woke up and did this, right? So he ends up surviving, brain dead, 2 months in ICU. I am literally coma every day there, standing there, just medicating, like, as many as I can do. I'm driving down to Boynton to pick him up, spending all my money, everything, maxing out my credit cards, everything I can do to just stay high, because I'm definitely not stopping now, right? And 2 months in ICU, we decided to pull the plug. He lasts 18 more days in hospice because he was in such good shape, right? So now I got to sit there 18 days. My father was jacked, bro. And he died. He died a little skeleton, you know. And a shot of testosterone would have saved his life. I am confident in that today. And this doctor, you know, didn't do any blood work, didn't do nothing immediate. This is why I don't go to doctors today. I do my own blood work. I put it in ChatGPT. I find out what's going on, and I take care of my own health. Because doctors, they just want to prescribe you medication, and they don't care about the root cause. They care about the symptom, right? How do we mask the symptom? Oh, you can't sleep, but why can't you sleep was the question, right? What's going on with you, right? That was the question. It wasn't, here, take this so you can sleep. So after my father passes, we bury him. We decide we want to try to sue, right? We go to Willie Gary, his name is. He's a huge lawyer in Stewart. Got a mansion, boat on the intercoastal. Best lawyer you could go to for pharmaceutical intervention, whatever you call it, pharmaceutical lawsuits. So we go to him. He says, "All right, you guys got a great case. They're going to settle outside of court. Where's the prescription? Let me see the prescription. In order to save $15, my father didn't fill the prescription. He took my mother was prescribed the same thing. He said, "Oh, we'll try it for a few days. I'll just take yours." Lawsuit out the window because we didn't fill the prescription. He was illegally taking my mother's medication. Lawsuit gone. Yeah. One of the worst days, you know. And he $100,000 life insurance policy, almost 50 on burying him. The rest was credit card debt. So we didn't get much, you know.
I'm really sorry for your loss.
Yeah. It's just one of those things that, like, you can't deal with that in addiction, you know. You don't have any of the tools to try to even remotely be able to deal with that. You know, like, now I've made peace with it and I can talk about it, you know, but I went so long with, like, don't even talk to me about it. It's not even real, you know. I went so long being like that. You
Yeah.
know.
Okay, so this is 2008 now.
2008. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, so you bury your father.
Mhm.
After speaking with the lawyer,
Yep.
unfortunate news, you
Yep.
go back you try and attempt to go back to your daily life.
Well,
What was that like? And were you on just an FU mission after that?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. So another pivotal moment in my life. We have this beautiful house in Port St. Lucie that, you know, the first house my mother and father bought in my life. We rented our whole lives. We were middle class. We rented in New York our whole lives. My father built this house from the ground up. I should have stayed home, helped my mother pay for the mortgage, you know, because the house now is worth 5 times, you know? It was at a time when it was worth like at the time we were upside down because of the mortgage crisis, but it went right back, you know, and now it's worth triple. You know, a $275,000 mortgage, and now it's like $650,000 a house, right? Hindsight, right? So I should have stayed home at this point, another pivotal crossroad where I made the wrong decision, you know, and there's nothing I could do about it. So I decide, fuck this, I'm going back down south. I'm gonna keep getting high, right? I'm gonna keep getting high. I get introduced to a dude. I start working at a transport company. I become best friends with a dude named Jeremy Feller, and me and him become best friends. He takes me in. We were drug using together, and he owned the transport business. I was working with him. Everything was great. I'm doing well. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm not sending home money to my mother. I'm not helping her. I'm like, it's irrelevant to me because I'm just getting high. And I'm like, I tried to just forget about that. Because now looking at it, I was just like, it's not even real. You know, it's not even real. I want to point out one more thing that I forgot to say. Lou Gallo ends up So my father told me to get away from him, right? This is when I got away from him, right? Because of that happened. Lou Gallo, I told him, oh, I can't come to work. That my father, I gotta go. He said, take all the time you want. He ends up bouncing a $3,000 check to me. Like I go to pick up my last check from him while my father is laying in ICU. He bounces his check. I told him, F you, I'm done with you, goodbye. That's how I broke up with him. Lou Gallo ends up getting 30 years in federal prison. They raid the place. Because of my father's death, I wasn't there. So I want to point that out. Dad got me away from that. You know, when you look at the positive side of things, there's always some sort of positive in it. Lou Gallo ends up getting indicted. They raid the whole place. I'm not on any indictment. It's got nothing to do with me. The guy that took my place ends up doing almost 10 years in federal prison. So I get out because of that, right? So Dad, thank you, you know, when you try to look at some of the positive, right?
So now you're with this guy with the transporting business.
I'm in the transport business and I love it, right? We're running a transport company. We're partying. We're 21, 22 years old at the time, going down to the Hard Rock. I'm just super into it, you know, like gambling. We're going out we're eating out all the time. We're living in a beautiful place in Boca. Everything is great. Long story short, you know, because I want to condense this because there's so much after this. You know, even though that was from 2008, my father died, 9, 10, 11, 12. I left in 14 when I left to California. So that was like 5 years, right? So 5 years with Jeremy Feller, you know, we ended on bad terms, but it was only because of our drug addiction, right? Like I loved him as a brother. I would apologize if you're listening to this, you know, it was our drug addiction, you know, and I'm sorry, you know. However it ended with us, it ended bad. I don't even remember what happened, but we parted ways and I went back to mom, right? So I left, I grabbed all my stuff and I went back to mom, right? Again, though, I can't stay there for long because I'm addicted to drugs. I went with like a couple bottles of methadone and I was doctor shopping at the time. I was getting methadone, Roxy's, Oxys, Xanax, all that, you know? And I just, I went home. I was like, I'll just hang out at home, see what happens. Let me see if I can put it together.
Really
Go
quick,
ahead. Yeah.
before you go on to like the next
Ask.
chapter
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
what you were heavily addicted to opiates. You were doing Oxys, Roxys, Xanax, all the pills.
All the pills.
Were you just keeping it to pills? Were you doing heroin at this point?
No, I never did heroin.
Okay.
I do later on, but at this point,
you're not doing heroin. You're just doing the pill. Are you going to the pill mills and stuff like that?
Of course. The Delray bill. I'm going to multiple doctors. I'm doing all that. And then I go one day. So I leave my mother's house. I got to go to the doctor, Mom. And I come down here and it's boarded up. The doctor that I go to is boarded up. You know, this is one of the pill mills, you know? So right there, I was like, oh shit. You know, this is like at the very end of doctor shopping.
Was it the George Brothers? Was it one of their places?
It was. I couldn't even tell you the name of it. You know, it was in Delray downtown.
Yep.
White house. It looked like a house. Anyways,
so it's boarded up.
Done. I'm like, all right. You know, I think this is around the time when CVS and Walgreens start talking to each other. You can't do it anymore. It's over with, right?
Electronic prescriptions.
All that. You know, all that. So. I'm at home. I'm running out of drugs. I got to get the hell out of here, right? I get offered another job at another transport company, right? With another guy named Junior Alexis, right? I get an apartment. I rent a room out of a house of a college. These are college kids. I rent a room in Delray, $600 a month. They're super partiers. And I'm working for this transport company. I'm using, I'm drinking, I start shooting up dilaudid, right? So I don't know if you've ever done those, but it's like an instant fall asleep, you know, instant knock you out. Have you done those or no?
Dilaudid, yes.
Okay. Instant, you know, it wasn't even like you enjoy the high, you know, pills are getting super expensive at this point, bro. I'm having such a hard time keeping up. Right? No matter how much I make, I mean, on Friday when I get paid, I already owe the dealer because they spotted me, right? So I owe 300 and I need 300 more. I only got 100 left in my paycheck. How am I going to stretch this to next Friday, right? So it's starting to get difficult. And I'm at this point, let me be clear, I'm not committing crimes to support my drug habit, right? I did the fraud with Lou Gallo, right?
Mhm.
But at this point, I'm not like boosting. I'm not doing it. I didn't even know any crimes that I could do to support my drug habit. I was still a functioning, go to work and do it, right? I
Mhm.
haven't made
But then
but so we're gonna get there. But I just can't keep up. I end up losing the apartment. I can't pay the rent, right? I can't pay it. I lose the apartment. I had a close friend of mine, another person I want to say sorry to, Chantel, right? This girl, this poor girl, was so cool to me, right? And I used her, right? I didn't like, I was her friend. Don't get it twisted. Again, I want to apologize to this girl. I haven't seen her since she moved. But this girl genuinely loved me. And I took advantage of that for a place to stay. I never slept with her, right? Maybe dangled it over her head a little bit, right? And she took me into a home where she had a daughter too, and I'm sleeping on her couch. I wasn't even sleeping in the bed with her, right? I was just like, and she was trying to help me. So I'm sorry, Chantel, because long story short, so this now is 2014, right? Oh, so the transport company's over with, right? I blew that. I don't know what happened there. I destroyed that
Yep.
too, right? I destroyed that too. It's irrelevant to my story.
Mhm.
I end up sleeping on this girl's couch. I have no job. She's letting me sleep there. I'm spending my days figuring out how I could smoke some weed, do a couple Xanax. I'm like begging her to give me some of her Xanax that she actually takes for her whatever she takes it for.
Anxiety.
Yeah, whatever the hell it is. And I'm watching Jerry Springer all day and the morning shows and like just a miserable loser life, right? I have no ambition, no drive, no nothing. I'm out of shape. I'm getting out of shape. I'm just like a mess, right? I'm like pale as a ghost. I'm just a mess, right? My friend calls me up one day, my childhood best friend from New York, Danny Gallagher. He calls me up. Ev, what's up, Danny? I'm moving to California. He had been out in California and he came back to New York and he's like, Ev, I'm going back. I got $2,500. You want to come with me? I was like, really? He's like, yeah, I'll come down to Florida. I'll pick you up and we'll drive across the country. I sat there for a minute. I said, yes, immediately. Again, I don't say no. I said, that sounded amazing to me. That sounded so cool. I have $0, bro. I have $0, but somehow that sounded amazing to me, dude. So I tell my mother, I wrote Chantel a note. I didn't tell Chantel. I wrote Chantel a note one day. I apologized. It's got nothing to do with you. Yada, yada. Thank you so much for everything. I couldn't look her in the eye. What a piece of shit I was. Oh, excuse me.
No, you're good.
Okay. And I left her house. I packed my stuff. I left. Had my mother come pick me up. She takes me. So I have never seen Chantel again from that point. Broke her heart. I know she spent nights crying, and I am another thing that I have to somehow make amends for if I can get a hold of her. I just haven't done it yet. So I go to my mother's. I'm waiting for Danny to come pick me up. My mother gives me a brand new wallet with $500 in it. She said, I don't have anything, but this is what I could do for you. This is it. You think you're going to figure your life out? If your father's dead, go ahead. Go for it. Let me know how it works out for you. And she knew it was a bad idea. My mother was at first she tried to talk me out of it, but then she was like, there's no talking him out of this, so let me not destroy my relationship with him. I'm sure she said, let me be supportive and I'm sure she was like, he'll come back, right? 2014, March 2014, Danny picks me up. We drive across the country. We stop. I packed everything I could. This is like a small hatchback Civic, nothing car. We have packed to the brim. The wheels are bending. There's like no space. You can't put your seat back.
Yeah.
And we're driving across the country, But to me, it was like, what an amazing adventure this is going to be, right? We stop in Louisiana. We party on Bourbon Street. We're drinking. And at this time, I had a little bit of dope left. And I thought I was going to go to California and get sober. And I was going to have this amazing opportunity. I was going to be in showbiz or something, the California dream, right? I'm a decent looking dude. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to figure my life out, right? Oh, what a disaster. What a disaster, bro. So we drive across country. I do the last of my opiates. I get sick on the way there, but I'm cool with it. I was like, okay, bro. I get through it, and we're smoking weed. So I was Cali sober, we're smoking weed. We get there. I get over so we spend a couple of days Louisiana. Then we start driving Texas, Nevada, the whole thing. We get to California. Long story short, it took us like 5 or 6 days. We get there. Cool experience I'll never forget, right? We had a great time on the way there, bro. I'll never take that away from Danny. That was awesome. We get to, are you familiar with California?
Somewhat.
Have you been?
I have.
Orange County.
Of course.
Huntington Beach, California.
It's beautiful there.
Right? It is beautiful. We end up on Beach Boulevard, right down the block from the beach. We end up in Howard Johnson Hotel on Beach, and I forget the name of the road. Anyways, we got to find an apartment, right? He's got $2,500, right? I have $500. Oh, the $500 I have is gone. I put in the gas tank. That's gone. So now we're down to whatever he's got, which is like $2,200 now. So we find an apartment. He calls his dad. His dad sends him another $2,000. They're kind of well off, right? So his dad was cool. I had told his parents, man, and this is another thing. Like, I was like, don't worry, I got Danny. They had believed in me. They believed in me that I was going to be the one that made a difference in Danny this time going out there, because he wasn't successful the first trip, right? But they believed in me. And I was able, I had that ability to make people believe my bullshit. Right?
Charm parents too. Yeah. Eddie Haskell, they call Eddie Haskell. Right?
Yeah. Yes. So, and all I was spewing was bullshit at this time. So anyways, but I had good intentions, right? The road to hell, right? It paved with good intentions, right? I had great intentions, bro. I believed in myself. We're going to do it. Da, da, da. So I'm not using opiates. Never touched heroin, right? We get this apartment. We're renting out of a home, one room that we're sharing, $700 a month. Awesome, dude. We could figure this out. We could both figure out how to make $700 and pay this thing by ourselves. Your dad helped us with the first last security. We're in. We have a car. Let's figure this out, right? So I start to find a job. And what do I look for? A sales job. I'm a salesman, right? So I get a job at a place called Tap to Eat. It was a software that was developed. Hold on. A software developed for restaurants to it was almost like a DoorDash before DoorDash, but like a directory for restaurants and like some sort of software. I couldn't even tell you what the hell it was, dude. I worked there. They were giving you $400 a week plus commission. I don't think I made one sale, right? Because it was difficult to sell to these restaurant owners, right? But I was getting the $400. I immediately meet the wrong people, right? In this place. It's like I was a magnet. Like, you could go anywhere, right? Like, at the place where you think you would never be able to find something, we'll find it, right? So, and I'm fresh off of opiates, right? No program, no tools, no way to say no to anything at this moment. So I get to smoke. So, and I'm smoking weed. So first it was let's smoke weed together. The guys at work, I didn't have a car. They're driving me back and forth, right? One day in the car, oh, did you ever, I think I asked. I think looking back, I was like, man, where's the opiates at around here, And they were like, oh, have you ever done heroin? I was like, heroin? I was like, that's a thing or like that? Because I've never seen heroin. I was like, how do you use it? They're like, "Oh, you put it on foil." I remember the conversation. I was like, "You put it on foil?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" They were like, "Yeah, you just stick it to the foil and da da da." And like I'm such a loser. Like they weren't even smoking. Like I wanted to get it just for me. So I was like, "Yeah, can you get me some? And can I try it?" Like, like why? Just because I was searching for dopamine,
Mhm.
right? Searching for dopamine. And addiction is the absence of dopamine, right? Because if you do not have the right things going on in your brain to develop your own dopamine, you're gonna search for it,
Mhm.
right? It's a natural thing.
Yeah.
So I was searching for dopamine and I found it on a piece of tinfoil, and it was the best feeling I've ever had in my life. Like going from now I'm sober for like almost maybe 2 months, and then I start hitting heroin, and it's like in California, it's black tar heroin, so it's like looks like a piece of, you know what it looks like. You stick it to the foil, you chase the dragon, and boom. So we're getting high every Friday after work. We're spending our money. I'm going to the weed stores that I've never seen before. Like this is when dispensaries were just coming out,
Yep.
right?
About 10 years ago.
Yeah, this was 2014.
Yeah.
So 2014, late 2000, March, maybe May 2014, May, June, July, something like that. You need it, but it was like like you couldn't just
Hard.
walk. It wasn't like super mainstream. You needed the card. Only one friend had the card because he had some sort of problem that he figured it out. And he goes in, gets his hand. I was like, "You just bought this in a store?" It was like super cool. It was like the strongest weed you've ever tried in your life. So we're doing that. They're like, "Hey, did you ever try meth?" It's like, "What's meth? What do you mean meth? What is meth?" I'm like, "What do you mean meth?" I had no idea what meth is. They're like, "Bro, it's like cocaine, but like way better." I was like, "Let's do that." Like let's do that's like cocaine, but way better. Let's do that. Yeah. How do we get that? And I was like, "How do you do it?" Like you put it in a pipe and you twist it. It's called a pookie. I was like, "What?"
It's called a pookie?
It's called a pookie. That's what you call the pipe. The pookie.
Oh
The
my
pookie.
God.
It's like a pipe. You ever see the pipe with the ball on the end?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you need yeah, that's what it's called. And I'm like, that sounds marvelous, dude. That sounds awesome, right? So you put it in the pipe, you hit it with the flame, it melts. It's the only drug that goes from a liquid to a solid to a vapor and back. You've never done it, right?
No.
Okay. It's like a cool science experiment, and as soon as you hit it, you feel like Superman, bro.
Mm.
And like especially at first, like your first hit, you take one hit, you're up for 7 days. You do every project you've ever wanted to do. You complete it. You complete it better with better accuracy than you could take apart your whole car, put it back together. I'm not joking.
Okay.
Your underwear drawer is color coordinated with your socks and all. It's like that, bro. So like, I'm like, man, this is a cool tool. I could use this as a tool to be superhuman, right?
Mhm.
To my performance enhancers, I used to call them, right?
So you're now smoking meth every day?
No, because it was like at first it's like a one hit and you're good for like 3-4 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like that at first, right? It quickly goes to every day to every couple hours,
Got it.
right? Like it's a fast progression,
Mhm.
but at first it's a one hit and I'm gonna fix everything in my life. I'm gonna do everything. It's like a magic.
Got
right?
it. Got it.
I stopped working, right? Okay, before I say that, so this is another huge part of my story where I meet my baby's mom. Okay. I'm looking for the heroin dealer, right? Because I need opiates, right? So I still have the job because I need some sort of income, right?
Mhm.
I meet this Mexican from Santa Ana, California, who I'm getting it from, right? Well, one day he can't come. He can't show up. So he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna send you to my homegirl, right? She'll take care of you. Go meet up with her." So he gives me the number. I call her. Da, 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 da. This ends up being my baby's mom. And so I meet up with this woman, Stevie Kelly, who sells me heroin. She's immediately attracted to me. I'm immediately attracted to her. We hang out. The first night I pick up from her, we hang out. We didn't hook up, right? We didn't hook up or nothing, but we hung out all night long. And like literally all night long. Like, I come back at like 7 a.m. when Danny needs his car, So, and then I go to work. So I meet her. From that day, we were how do you say it? Inseparable, right? We were nonstop together. She was selling a lot of heroin, right? So she was making a ton of money, right? I end up quitting my job. Long story short, I move in with her, right? She's like, you don't got to do shit. Can we cuss? Is that a
Yeah,
thing? Oh, okay,
of
okay,
course.
okay.
Say
I didn't
whatever you
know.
want.
Okay. She's like, you don't got to do anything. You could literally just basically sleep with me. We'll eat. We'll and that's it. And that's it. So I'm like, here we go. This is the opportunity I've been looking for, right? She's a good looking woman. We're sleeping together.
Is she using heroin?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you both are
Heroin,
using.
meth, everything.
Okay.
Drug fueled,
Mhm.
all night long, and again, it was just awesome to me at this time, right? So I end up basically like leaving my boy Danny stranded, although he supported himself. But at this moment, this was the moment in my life when I decided if I'm going to be using drugs, I'm not working again. I'm about to do whatever I need to do to support myself. So now I start selling heroin with her, right? So we're selling, she's doing the blunt of the bulk of it, right? But especially like a woman when they're doing these drugs, like they think they have everything under control, right? They do. And it sounded great. At first, it was great because she did, but she quickly fell apart and wouldn't let me control anything because she knew what she was doing because she did it for so many years or however long. But I watched her fall. I was like, let me do it. Let me give it to me. Let me handle it. Because I had experience with selling dope, right? And I'm the hustler from New York. Let me handle it for you. Like you don't. I don't have to be the one that sits on the couch all day. Maybe we could reverse that role, right? Wouldn't let me, right? So I watched her fall apart. We lose the apartment. We end up living out of a car, right? So now, when the roles reversed, she introduces me to her 45-year-old Mexican drug dealer from Santa Ana who was an older construction guy, literally getting it from his family in Mexico, right? Like legit, probably from cartel members, that's where the stuff comes from. And we had no money. I said, let me talk to him, right? The guy barely speaks any English, but I went to him with open hands. I said, hey man, this is who I am. This is what I can do. Give me one shot, right? Give me one shot with a small amount of dope, and I will make it happen, right? Because like for me, it was like it's how I am today too. Like, don't do excess, only do what you got, what you can do, right? Like don't waste it, right? Get your money first, right? So he ends up fronting me 3 grams. I turn that 3 grams into him giving me an ounce every day, right? I'm trying to also shorten it as much as I can. It was fast. I immediately brought the money back within a couple hours for the 3 grams. He was like, cool, you're good. They're getting it for free.
Yeah.
They're getting it for nothing. He was willing to take a shot on me. I just had to ask, and she couldn't believe it. She was like, he gave it to you? I was like, yeah, he did, and look what I just did. Boom. So now I'm setting us up. I'm keeping us, we don't have a place, but I'm keeping us in hotel rooms, right? So I developed this, and now mind you, I don't know anybody, bro. I was a drug dealer from New York that there's a place in California called South County. It's like the rich area of Orange County. I would stand at the gas station with a hoodie on, and as soon as I seen a kid that looked like they did dope, I'm like, hey, what's up, man? You good? Do you need anything? Like, what do you mean? I was like, I got that. You know, like, I got that. Like, what do you? And they're like, what? That's how I got all my customers, right? Like, that's how I did it, right? I didn't know anybody. So I had to build this, you know, so I start building a clientele base, right? And I'm doing well, right? I'm keeping us good. I'm going through an ounce of heroin a day. We're making money. We're saving money. We don't want for anything at this point. She don't have to do it. I just sit there and shut up. You know, no, literally, bro. Just at this point, I'm like, just sit there and shut up. You know, because now it's like she was like, damn, you know, and she didn't have to do anything. You know, cool. You know, look what happens when you shut up. You know, because she was like very independent, very didn't have, you know, but she wanted me, but. You know, let me do the man shit.
Yeah.
You know, let me do the man shit, look pretty and sit over there. You know, and again, that's what I wanted. You know, I just wanted a woman that was not gonna care what I do during the day, and she's gonna be there at night when I get there. Right? Like this, she didn't give a crap what I did, who I was with, what girls I was hanging out with. She was there. And at this time, we didn't think she could have kids. Right. She was literally telling me she cannot have children. You know, we had years of unprotected sex before I got her pregnant, but we'll get to that. So now is when I start picking up charges, bro. Like at this point, I'm starting to get arrested for possession, for sales, for stealing stuff from the stores, from doing dumb things you do, right, in addiction, right? So I progress from it's even though I was doing well with the selling, there's still a point when you're like, oh shit, I messed up. I don't have any money, but I was willing to do anything. So I learned about boosting. I had no idea what boosting was. Do you know what boosting is?
I know what boosting is. Yeah.
Like stealing from the stores,
Yep.
right?
And then reselling it to other.
It, right? But I wasn't cool with. I clean up very well. I don't have face tats, right? I could put on a suit, you know, and a tie, and I could go anywhere, right? And because I can speak the language, I could do anything. I used to have a long hair with I put on a pair of sophisticated looking glasses.
You're a chameleon.
I'm a chameleon, bro. So I was like, man, these dudes are boosting all day, these dumb little things, and then going and getting a gift card for 50% of the value and selling that. And it was just too much work for 25% of the value of the product, right? So this is what I did. I walked through all the high-end stores, right? I took pictures of all the products that I thought I could steal. I posted them all on OfferUp, right? I posted every one of them on OfferUp, and I waited for the calls. People would call me in the morning. They say, oh, hi, you got this. So, and I posted it instead of 25%, 75, 80% of the value, right? And it's cash on the spot. So they'd call me. I'd be like, oh, I'm at work right now. I can meet tonight at 7 p.m. I went and got that motherfucking object. You know, I went and stole that thing, right? I went and got it because I knew and I had people calling me all day long. So I knew I had the buyer already, right? I had the buyer already set up, but this is what really set me off, right? And I was making sometimes more money than selling the dope. Those magnetic, they had the spider wraps that like the security device. You know, it's like a big plastic chunk on the object. It's supposed to be so you can't steal it.
Yes.
And I'm behind the counter at like the most registers. They have this like, it looks like a rectangle, and it takes it like the cash register guy will take it off.
It's an object. It's a tool to take it off.
to take it off. Yep. It's a neodymium super strong magnet. That's what it is, right? But the magnets are at a certain length apart, and you need it to be exactly like that. I walked in the 24-hour CVS one night. I jumped over the counter, cut it off, and ran out. And now I have the device that takes these things, that takes the spider wrap off. Bro, no bullshit. I would go into Macy's in the mall, right? And walk out with 2 KitchenAid $800 mixers, right? And in an hour make $400 each, right? So, and it's pure profit. So I included boosting into my drug dealing. My drug dealing went down. It went to like, I'm going to sell just to my close friends. I'm not going to go stand at a gas station anymore. Right. Like, bro, I never got, like, I got busted 1 or 2 times in the beginning for boosting before I became sophisticated with it. But once I put on a suit and acted the part, like I'd go in and as I walking out, I have a receipt in my mouth and I'm walking out with the thing. And the people will open the door for me, bro. Like they're helping me walk out to the store and like no BS. And, so that's what I did. And again, that lasted, right? I'm in and out of jail though for possessions. We're falling asleep in the car. So I'm in and out. I'm in and out of the county jail. And mind you, this county jail, bro, Orange County Jail, is the worst county jail in the country. It is the most political, racist, violent place you can be. And it's not easy to make it through there, right? I just want to point that out. Anybody that knows it is going to be like, yeah, it's super like instead of worrying about fighting your case and how you can beat it, you're more worried about a race riot that might take place in the chow hall today, right? And you have to, like, you're being like, as soon as you walk in, they're like, are you Wood? Are you this? Are you Mexican? And you have to join it's a gang. It's a gang. You're with the white boys, you're with the Mexicans, you're with the blacks. They segregate everybody. And it's a gang, and you're forced to do things like you have to beat people up. You got to put in work. You got to do all these things, right? It's a terrible place to be, bro. And it's a messed up system that keeps people from fighting their cases, and it keeps people worried about the wrong things so that you just go to court and you sign. You sign for anything because you don't want to go to court anymore because going to court is like an all-day event. You're shackled. You got here, your feet, the thing, and it's freezing, and going to court starts at 2 a.m. and you don't get back till 8 o'clock at night. So you're signing. Oh, what's the deal? I'm signing. There's no fighting the case. That's how the rate is so high of conviction, right? Because it's just like brutal, bro. And anybody that knows will say that. So I'm going in and out of that jail. I'm boosting. I end up meeting somebody that introduces me to credit card fraud. This is where it gets crazy. So credit card fraud for me looked like this early on. Early on, it was I had a buddy that made the credit cards. He would give them to me. I'd go buy the stuff. I'd come back with all the stuff, and we'd split it. That's what it looked like for me early on. But me in my brain was, how can I be that guy, right? Like I want to be that guy, and I want to go do the work. I want 100%, bro. That's how I am. I'm all in, I want 100% of it. So I learned how to do it. It consisted of buying a device, right? A credit card reader writer, going and stealing blank debit cards from the gift cards at on the gift card rack, buying a credit card embosser to emboss the numbers on it, right? Getting people to sell you IDs, and going on the dark web and using Bitcoin to purchase debit card numbers, right? I was buying and selling Bitcoin when it was $400 a Bitcoin, bro. Right? $400 a Bitcoin. The government took 3 of them from me. We'll get to that. I would spend, I probably bought credit card numbers with $50,000 worth of Bitcoin for one number. Now, if you compare it to what it's worth now,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
I was spending $50,000 on a credit card number. Anyways, so it progresses. Now I have a fraud operation going. I'm staying in hotel rooms. It's like, get a new hotel, unpack the car. I have all these machines. I'm literally, the credit cards are laid out. I have homeless people selling me IDs. I tell them that I'll buy any ID for $50 an ID, no matter what it looks like. They're stealing from cars all day. I would go down to the homeless encampment and tell these people, hey, this is what I got. I got dope or money for any ID. What's up? Where you at? And they were calling me. I would get sometimes 3, 4 a day, bro. So I had all the IDs. I had the credit card machine. I had everything going on. It was awesome. Completely stopped selling dope if you're not like my best friend coming over and smoking with me, I'm not selling you dope because I don't want to get another sales charge.
You're not in that game anymore.
No, I'm done with that. Like the credit card for our game, like is like a lot more money than the dope game, you know? I didn't pay for anything, bro. Like any cash I made, like stayed with us at this time. Like, so it was like we were building up this money and, you know, it was just like awesome because like if I wanted to eat, I spent it with a credit. If it was as simple as this, if I wanted to purchase food right now and I didn't have a credit card number, I'd go online, I'd spend $8 for a credit card number. That's what it was back then. And I would use that credit card number to buy the food online and go pick it up. And I'd get like $300 of food at a time. And if the credit card number didn't work, the dark web refunds you. If you get back to them within an hour, they refunded you the money. Or they gave you another credit card number. So it was like it was like magic. What the hell are you talking about? You know, like wow, this is magic.
But you're okay. You have this credit card number, ordering the food on the website, going there, picking it up. Are you like covering your face when you go in there?
At this point, it's so hard for them to get you that fast because think about this. I steal your credit card number. I put it in the machine. I put it online. I use this card only one time, right? So I put it online. You don't see it till it gets charged. You call your credit card company. By the time you call your credit card company, they call the police. The police go, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Never happen. It would never happen.
Yeah.
Like, unless maybe I use that card multiple times and I hold on to it. But I spent $8. I'd get $300 worth of food, right? Every time we got $300 worth of food, I'd give a bag to the first homeless person we see. We used to do that stuff all the time, bro.
For some good karma.
That's how I slept at night,
yourself.
Right? I thought
Jesus Christ.
I thought I was doing something good, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, literally, but they were like, you know, and I would give them a bag of food. We got a bag of food all the time. Because I want to order as much as I can. Why not? So that's going great for a long period of time. I start getting busted for it, you know, because I start getting pulled over with like a backpack full of credit cards, the credit card machine, the embosser. So I lost everything multiple times doing it.
What was the first time that you got pulled over and they found the shit? And what was that interaction like with the cops?
So the interaction was the first time I got pulled over with all this stuff. It was in Garden Grove, California. I got pulled over. It was because I had my light was out. I had no tail. My tail light was out. So I get pulled over. They smell the weed or whatever. Somehow he got ability to search the car, right? So you know, he's like, oh, is there anything in the car? I'm like, no, of course not. You know, there's nothing in the car. Go ahead. Once they see that, they know what that is. Like they say, when you have 50 debit cards like this and a credit card machine, they're like, you're going to jail. You know, you're going to jail, and then you just shut up. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know how that got in there. You know, I have no idea how that got there. Let's go. You know, it became like, let's go. Because these charges, like in California, like, especially for that, like if you don't get caught in the act, like if it's state time, if it's state, not the feds, it's a slap on the wrist. It's like 90 days with half time. You do 45 days and you're out. You know, so it was like, it wasn't even that serious, you know, like, and that happened many times. Matter of fact, this morning, because before I was coming here, I was looking through some of my paperwork, right? And I got arrested in the time from 2014, when I moved there, to 2019, to June 29, 2019, my final time getting arrested. I got arrested 18 times. 18 times were the only times I got arrested in my life.
And were each one of those felonies?
No, a lot. There's misdemeanors, but majority, a few felonies were in there. Yeah, like especially towards the end. Towards the end, there was multiple felonies that I bailed out on, and then I would keep picking up new felony charges, right? And bailing out before I could even get sentenced. So you're able to bail out because you're not like violating probation or anything. And then like at the end, when I finally got busted by the feds, it all wrapped up in one, you know.
Can you take us through the end when you get arrested by the feds?
By the feds.
Yeah, give us the whole story. What happened?
Okay, Can we back up just
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit
yeah, yeah,
first?
of
Because
course.
I'm going to lead up to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to lead up to that if
Sure.
you don't mind.
Not at all.
All right, cool. Because I do the credit card fraud, but that's not where it excelled. That wasn't where it ended. I end up going to the county jail, right? One time I go to the county jail. I walk out. I end up walking out. I have no shoes on. No, they gave me one shoe. Like, they would fuck with you so bad in this place. They gave me one shoe and said, see you later. I walk maybe 5-6 miles. I had to walk across in a burning heat to my friend Billy's house, right? I go to my friend. I have no idea where Stevie is. Anytime I got busted, she was just like in the wind, using, who knows, she was sleeping with dudes. I have no idea, right? At this point, I just want to get high. So I go directly to where I know where to go, my friend Billy's house. And I walk into the garage and I see all these pieces of paper all over the floor. Like, what is going on here? He's got these liquid and canisters, different brake fluid and like different liquids that go in your radiator and like all these pieces of paper. As I get closer, I look closer, I'm like, those are checks. What the hell are you guys doing? He's, bro, this is the new lick. This is what we're doing now. I was like, what's up? What's going on? Is it? This is what we're doing for money? He's like, yeah, because this was like my criminal buddy, you know? Like we were super cool with each other. I was like, put me on. He's like, bet. We're cashing out. I was like, we're cashing out. What does that mean? This is what we call it, cashing out. First time I heard it, I was like, what does that mean? He's like, we're going into the bank and we're leaving with money. We're going in with a piece of paper. We're robbing the bank, but we're robbing them with a piece of paper. I was like, really? I was like, how do we do that? He's like, we're cashing checks. I was like, okay. I was like, explain, you know? He's like, it starts with stealing mail. You have to steal mail, right? So you go to the post office or any other blue mailbox and you steal outgoing mail, because outgoing mail is where people are writing checks and they're sending it. At this point, 8 out of 10 envelopes in that mailbox are still paper checks, handwritten paper checks. So I'm like, okay, so you steal the mail, then what, right? He's like, then you need an ID. You need somebody's ID. You want one that looks like you, right? And you go into the bank and we change the name on the check. We change the name and the amount. I'm like, you could do that? He's like, yeah, I'm going to show you how. He's like, we change the information to match the ID and you walk in and you cash a check. And as long as it's a $200-$300 check, the bank doesn't really trip, right? All you're going is with it's a Bank of America check. So I go to Bank of America with an ID and you cash it. It doesn't always hit. Sometimes they say, oh, we got to verify this. And you walk out of the bank and that's it. You walk out because they're going to call the police. As long as you walk out and you don't stay, you're good, right? You're good. So I'm like, okay, that sounds awesome. Let's go. So we're doing it, right? And it's hitting 50-50, right? But it's like $200-$300 checks. It's like boring. I'm like, oh, okay, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, right? So mind you, we're using chemicals to wash the ink off the check. It's the molecular bond of the ink to the paper. You have to use a chemical that breaks it. So we use this radiator dryer called Heat. It's this yellow bottle. You see a yellow and red bottle of Heat. You spray brake fluid, soak it in heat, wipe the back of the check with Vaseline first so that the security features on the back don't come. Dip it in, let it sit, pull it out, dry it. It's fucking, all the ink's gone, right? But you would trace the person's signature with a permanent marker so that didn't come off. And now you have their signature. It stayed on there because you need that signature on it, right? Like your check, your signature. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like, damn. So it starts to come like, man, every other check, I got to run out of the bank, right? I'm like, man, you know what? I have a bank account. I have a Wells Fargo bank account, right? I'm like, write it in my name. Okay. Write a decent sized check, right? Oh, I had a Chase. Sorry. At this time, I had a Chase and a Wells Fargo. My friend Kevin writes me a check because I'm still like just working with these dudes at this time. But I'm taking notes, bro. Trust and believe it. I'm like, I want to be able to do this myself. So I'm like, write me a check. He's like, you sure? I was like, dude, I don't give it. I remember I told you, I decided that I'm going all in, right? Like I was like, I'm a criminal. Catch me if you can, bro. Like that's it. So I'm like, okay, Right in my name, $1,700 check. I go into Chase. I have my name on it. I walk out with $1,700. I took note of what happened when I went in there, right? Like, what happened there? Why did Chase let me cash a $1,700 check, but I'm having so many problems with $200-$300 checks? Why? Because because I was a Chase customer, right? I had a Chase checking account, right? I walk in, they said, put your debit card in. I put my debit card in. I put my PIN number. I pulled my debit card out and they gave me the money. They didn't ask me for ID. I was like, what? They're not even asking me for ID? The bank uses your debit card as your identification. I was like, okay, check this out. This is what I'm gonna do, right? I end up one time, I do a couple in my name, right? And then I lose, I have to walk out on a check because they wanted to verify it because it was a shitty check, right? They said, oh, we need to verify. I walk out, I lose my accounts, right? I walked out on 2 checks, I lost my accounts. So what did I do? I said, I need to find bank accounts. I need to find people with bank accounts, right? I go to the homeless encampment, bro, right? I round up round up these homeless people that have never had a bank account in their life, right? And I tell them, check this out. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to multiple banks today. I'm gonna give you $500 for each bank account we could open in your name. I'm gonna give you the security questions. I'm gonna give you the phone number. I'm gonna give you the email. I'm gonna give you the address. I'm gonna give you. I get all these burner phones. I do all these email addresses. I go to the post office. There's a store, a convenience store that has these post office boxes in it. I get all these post office boxes, bro, and I end up getting like 10 bank accounts, bro. Right? I pay these dudes out. Right? Now that I have these debit cards, right? I have these debit cards. They're mine. And I tell them, I say, just so you know too, guys, you guys know me. Give me 30 days. I'm going to come back and give you some more money. Let me work this for 30 days. I'm going to come back and give you. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah. So once I was able to do that the first time, and like I proved to all these people, like I started being like, yo, you need money? Go see, and I'm about to say a name, Giovanni. I went by the name Giovanni to all these people, right? So they were like, I was like, he's not gonna know who Giovanni is. I was like, they were like, go see Giovanni. My entire criminal history in California, everybody on the streets knew me as Giovanni because I didn't want anyone to tell on me, right? So I changed my name, and so did Stevie, right? She was Michaela, right? I end up getting those bank accounts. Now they're calling me. Hey, I heard you did it. Come pick me up. Let's go. So I develop all these the banks, bro. Now I'm getting checks, bro, and I'm writing them for 5,000, 7,500. Biggest check I cashed was 15 grand, bro. And so I like to keep between 3 and 7,000, right? And it was fine. I literally, bro, I could cash out on one debit card for 30 days before it caught up because I wasn't depositing them. For some reason, the bank, it took forever to catch up, and then one day the account would just be shut down. Like I never deposited a check. I would cash out every day on an account, bro, and it took like 30, sometimes 60, 90 days before they would even realize. So I wanted to bring us back to that before I got to the point of I got arrested.
Okay.
You know?
So take us through.
So I'm doing this now for an extended period of time. Bro, I go from walking out of jail with one shoe to walking into the motorhome dealership and buying a motorhome for like $43,000 cash. I buy a 40-foot bus. I'm driving up and down the coast of California, bro, stopping at every city and every city with a couple post offices, terrorizing the post offices, hitting all the banks in the area, right? And just like keep on moving, right? So, one time, so I'm doing that for a couple of years, bro. And it's like, well, I'm still like getting busted for little things, but I didn't get busted for the big time yet. So I'll take you to the point where I got busted. I did a stupid move. Like I was pretty smart with this, but like I end up I would go in the middle of the night. Like I had a white construction van, and I would go at like 2:00 in the morning to drive to the different post offices, bro. And I would pull up to the post office box. You know those mailboxes that you could like reach into?
Yep.
You put your stuff in. It's got like a arm that comes out, and it's just like a hole this big.
Mm-hmm.
You see the baseline of your wall there?
Yeah.
The baseboard?
Mhm.
You know how some of them are vinyl,
Yes.
right? It's like a vinyl piece.
Yep.
So I would take those, I would tape 2 of them together, right? With Gorilla Tape, and I would take the rat traps. You know what a rat trap
Yep,
glue
of course,
is? And
of
I would
course.
melt the glue onto the end of it, right? So I would slide that in the box, and it would stick to the mail, and I would pull out, and I could empty a box in a couple of minutes, bro. I can empty a complete post office box in a couple of minutes. And so I was doing that. Like that to me was the riskiest part. Everything else was cool, but I was doing it because I was so greedy too at this time. I should have had people doing the different things, but I wanted all of it, right? I wanted all of it because I desperately always, even from high school, I wanted to be him, right? So like everybody knew Giovanni's making all this money. You could bring him IDs. He's got dope. He's got everything I had going on at this time, right? So I end up one morning, I go to the post office, and I didn't get a bunch of mail. We were on our way out to eat, right? I said, let me stop at the post office. I go, I circle back around 15 minutes later, I go to the same post office, right? Turns out in the post office, when you go in the post office, there's a thing on the wall that says $50,000 reward for anybody if you catch anybody stealing mail. Right? If you catch anybody stealing mail from the post office, it's a $50,000 reward. So somebody seen me, right? And they called the police. And the second time I came back, the police weren't there yet, but the post office was looking. They were outside. And as I'm pulling out, a big post office truck comes and blocks it, right? Blocks the entrance for me to getting out. I hop the curb, I peel out, there's cops all over the place. I end up pulling into a Target parking lot, right? And there's cops pulling up. I'm not getting away here. I know that, right? But at this moment, like I was so deep in addiction, like there was only one thing I was thinking about. You know what that was?
Getting high.
Putting the dope inside of me to bring in the prison with me. That's what I was thinking about. That's it, because I did not want to be dope sick, right? Like, so I was like, I'm swallowing it. I'm putting it where I got to put it, you know? So that's what I was thinking about. Not what's going to happen to my old lady who's in the back, not anything, right? So we're in Laverne. This is a city in Los Angeles, right? They take us in, right? I got the dope, right? So I'm like, whatever. This is a daily thing. So they start questioning us, right? But bro, I got caught with a lot, that all this mail, debit cards. I'm very surprised at what happens next, right? The feds. So the state contacted the feds because when anything with a post office is federal.
Mm-hmm.
The feds wanted this case, so they tell Laverne to let us go. So the feds come in and question me, and I convince them that I'm just the drug addict stealing the mail, right? I'm just the drug addict stealing the mail, and I sell it to the guy who's cashing the checks. I'm the guy that's cashing the checks, right? So I convince them this, right? And they let me go, but they tell me, don't go anywhere. We're gonna be watching you, and we're gonna be contacting you soon. This is gonna be federal. So the federal I don't know why they let us go, right? I don't know why, but they did. I guess to watch us to build a case, right?
Of course, they wanted to watch.
They wanted to watch.
They wanted
me.
you to slip up again,
which I did. You know, and when I spoke to the lady when she finally got me, which I'll get to in a minute, she told me, "Man, you were cashing checks 2 days later." She's like, obviously, she's like, I didn't. She believed me. She thought she was trying to just follow me to the guy I was selling it to, right? But she's like, it was you the whole time. You lied to me. You know, you lied to me. And I ended up writing her a letter from in prison, apologizing to her, and telling her that because I acknowledged that it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Wait, so they let you out. What happens? Take us through what happens.
So they let me out. Bro, at this time, my son and my kid's grandma were coming to visit, right? And I had this beautiful thing set up at a motorhome park near the mountains, a campground. Thank God I got out because that was about to get ruined, right? So I get out, I enjoy that week with my son. My mother comes. They have no idea I just got busted, right? Um, so I go right back to cash and checks immediately, right? Immediately. Um, and I like to think I'd like to have some grandiose story about how I got caught next, gun down, shootout, something like that. No, there was none of that. The way I got caught next was God's intervention because I needed to get caught. So at this time now, we know it's getting tight, bro. Like we know we just got released. The feds just told us, oh, one of my mailboxes gets a mailbox that was registered to one of the bank accounts that I was using, gets a letter from the federal government asking if they have had any fraudulent activity happen and have they had any mail. They were starting to investigate me, but I get the letter. They think they're writing it to a victim, but I have the mailbox, right? So I'm like, we gotta go, right? My son's in Arizona. Oh, so I didn't even tell you all that. We have 2 kids. I have a kid, right? In the midst of all this, bro, I'm not gonna try to fit it in the timeline,
Mhm.
but in the midst of all that happening, right? I get Stevie pregnant with my son, bro. We're in the midst of addiction. There's no stopping, bro. I tried to get her to go to the methadone clinic and to do all that. She ends up having my son with drugs in his system, and we lose my son at birth, right? Man. Uh, but again, I'm just so numb, bro. I'm smoking heroin in the parking lot while she's having a baby. She has a baby. I'm going in the bathroom smoking. She's going from the hospital bed to the bathroom to smoke heroin, you know? And man, it's terrible, you know, because my son, thank God he's healthy and good, right? Uh, but there was no stopping us, right? And we didn't think she can get pregnant. So that happens. Long story short, her mom takes him, all right? He goes into foster care. Her
Mhm.
mom takes him and
To Arizona.
to Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, to Arizona.
Okay. So you're now, okay, it's hot. They're on to
Yeah,
me.
they're on to me.
You now have your son in Arizona.
Son
Where
in
do you guys
Arizona.
leave? Do you guys leave LA?
We leave LA, we'll come back to Orange County. We were picking up a bunch. We're like, we gotta go. At this point, though, Stevie's pregnant again. She's pregnant again, but I got her to go to the methadone clinic. I got her to go to the clinic. She got on methadone. She- I was still using, but she wasn't, right? She wasn't. So, as far as I knew, right? So, this is how crazy life is. Let's go. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's go pick up some dough. Let's get to Arizona. It's a 5-hour drive. We need to figure something else out. I can't keep getting arrested in Orange County. These cops know me now. They're looking for us. The feds, we got the letter. You know, like it's getting too hot, right? So we decide to go. We pull over, go to a gas station. I fill up the motorhome. We're getting ready to drive out of here, bro. On everything I love, we were getting ready to leave. We pull out of the gas station. We pull up next to a CVS to walk our dog, Charlie. I had a teacup Yorkie, right? We go to walk Charlie. We walk Charlie. We were doing nothing wrong. Somebody called the police on us that we were loitering next to the CVS. Bro, I just spent $400 on gas in that same parking lot. I was just walking the dog. Very innocent, but they called the cops on us. I got warrants I don't even know about, right? I got warrants. I give the cop an ID that looks like me, right? But bro, I'm so high. I can't remember the middle name. I can't remember the birth date. I'm a mess. He's like, dude, this ain't you. Check this out, dude. Check this out. You either be honest with us and tell us your name, right? And I'll leave your pregnant baby mama here alone, right? Your pregnant girlfriend, whatever he said, alone. or you don't, and I'm searching your motorhome, bro, plenty of dope in there, you know? I'm searching your motorhome, and she's gonna end up going to jail too. I said, let's go. I said, let's go. I gave him my name, right? I told him that's it. That was June 29th, 2019 was the day I got arrested. And I said goodbye. I kissed her. I said goodbye. Um, and that was it. That was my last day in California. That was my last day free in California, you know? And so I got busted. They pulled me in. I had warrants. I had state warrants, right? So I went to the county first. The Fed thing wasn't a thing yet. So I'm in the county now. Again, Orange County Jail, terrible place to be. And I know it's coming, man. I know it's coming, but I'm trying to sign to see if I could get out before it comes, right? So, but I signed for 3 years in the state. So now I'm getting ready to go upstate in California. Bro, state prison in California, again, is no joke. You know, like I did not want to go. I'm not going to sit here and pretend, you know, like, oh yeah, a lot of these dudes act super tough and want to go and all that. I did not want to go, dude. You know, I wanted nothing to do with it. But before they could come get me, like I signed, I was literally supposed to go the following Tuesday. The Fed warrant pops up. The Fed warrant pops up, and they take me across the street to the federal holding facility. And that's when I found out that I got possession of stolen mail, aggravated identity theft, aiding and abetting, and something else. I don't even know. Just a mess, you know? And so that's when I start fighting my federal case.
Okay. So can you actually repeat before you were starting to say it, what the lady said to you after the fact once they arrested you and brought you in? The federal.
She was like, you lied to me. Because I saw her right there. You
Yep.
know, like I saw her. She was like, you lied to me. You were him. This is all you. We have you on videotape in all these banks up and down the state of California. We got you, you know, because they were literally, she told me, she was like, your picture is on the wall in multiple police departments, you know, and for some reason, I don't know why they couldn't like facial recognition and know it was me, but they didn't, you know, so it was like, maybe it was the wrong angle or something, but they didn't know, they couldn't put it together who it was, but she was like, we got you, you know, we got you, you lied to me. And she was like all like she was hurt by it, you know, like it was like hurting her, you know. But you know, I told her, you know what, don't take it personal. You know, of course I lied. I'm a criminal. Of course I lied to you, right? You know, and then like I said, I ended up apologizing to her years later.
You made amends to her?
I made amends to her because I realized, like, man, this woman's actually a good woman. Because you know why? Like, it was kind of like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I didn't just wake up one day and be like, I want to make amends to this woman. I got a letter stating that they were gonna give me my $3,700 cash back that they took from me in the Laverne Police Department that day I got arrested when they let me go because they impounded my truck and they took a bunch of cash and they were like, yeah, this cash cannot be linked to this crime. We're gonna give it back to you. You just have to fill out this form. So I was like, holy shit, this woman is cool. You know, I was like, man, and I felt bad for lying to her. So that's why I was like, damn, I'm an asshole. You know, like, so.
Yeah. Okay, so you get arrested, you start fighting this case. You end up ultimately getting 5 years in federal prison.
I got 70 months.
Okay.
70 months, 5 years, 11 months.
Okay.
Right? 5 years, 11 months.
Do they wipe out your state, though? Do they just say, hey?
It runs consecutive. Concurrent. It runs concurrent. Consecutive is back to back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Concurrent.
Concurrent. It runs concurrent. I haven't talked about this in so long. So it's all coming back to me, you know.
I watch a lot of true crime. So
so you got it. You got it. They run it concurrent, and I never have to go see the state. I'm so stoked about that, you know. That's awesome, right? I thought I was gonna have to do the state. Then people were telling me, oh, you're gonna do your Fed time, then you're gonna have to go back and do your state. I'm stressing, bro. Like, I'm like, oh man. So I end up, it runs concurrent.
Okay.
So,
how was prison?
So prison, it was exhausting, and it was the type of torture like I wouldn't wish on anybody. because like there's multiple different tortures that you go through inside of a prison, whether it's state or federal. There's the being away from your family, watching your kids grow up through a picture, talking to them over the phone, and your kids asking, "Where are you?" Right? I'm at work in California. How many years can you say that? You know? Um, so there's that torture. And then there's a type of torture that you have to look your tormentor in the face every day, the prison guards, right? Because they treat you like shit. And there is no worse torture for me than caloric restriction and isolation, right? Caloric restriction and isolation. Bro, hungry. Like being hungry for 24 hours a day for extended periods of time. Like, bro, like at first it was like prison was okay. And then coronavirus hit. We didn't come out of our cells for 6 months,
Oh my
bro.
God.
Not only that, like I remember going in and thinking, bro, one of my worst fears is what if like a world war happens? What if a pandemic happens? And it happened, bro. So all of a sudden, one day, lock it down. They don't tell us what's going on. We didn't know what was going on. It was like, oh, there's some flu going on the TV. Then they shut the TVs off. Your batteries die on your radio, right? You got no battery. You're not going to commissary. You're eating a cold sack lunch 3 times a day, bro, for months, bro. Like and then there's like, because the cops stopped showing up because they don't even want to come to work. So they had to like pay dudes triple time to fly in. These weird cops are coming. One cop's monitoring 3-4 units, right? So literally a cop would come in, do a walk, and then disappear, and nobody would be in the unit for 6 hours. Like nobody's there looking at us. We're like, bro, you know, a conversation I literally had with my cellie is, hey, what if they stop feeding us? Should we save our bread? That was real, bro. Like I went through that. Like, we're like, bro, let's start saving a piece of bread, bro. Because if they stop feeding us, are we gonna be able to break through this door? Hell no. That's a thick piece of steel. We're
Mm.
like, man, can we rip the piece of locker off and wedge it? Like we spent hours on multiple days discussing on how we can get out if we're starving to death. So there's that type of torture,
Mm.
right? There's the type of torture where so there's the family, there's that coronavirus, being locked in the cell for extended periods of time, and then just forget about that. When it's normal program, like when you're out, like when you're locked away for so long, right? When they open the unit and you can come out, it's like, oh my God. Now it's almost like you go from jail to freedom because now you can move, you could program, you could go to yard, you're going to the chow hall, you're going to commissary. So you develop this program, right? Of like, this is what I do on a daily basis. I wake up, I make my bed, I clean my cell, I drink my coffee, I go to breakfast, I go to commissary, I come back, I work out, I read for an hour. So you develop this program, right? And you start doing the same thing over and over every day. That's how you get the days down, right? Because you can't think about how much time you got left. It's just like, let me get through today, right? And just keep doing it. So you develop that. And then there's a type of torture where everything is going great in your life. Like when I say great, I mean like for prison, like it's good, like it's okay, it's bearable. And then the cop comes in and searches your cell and smashes all your pictures and throws your coffee and it goes over the pictures of your family and the drawing you just paid $50 for that you were about to send home to your family, and your bed is all messed up and he ripped your sheets and all that because he thought you were making alcohol in the cell or something, right? You know, and what can you do? You got to bear it. You know, what are you gonna do? Take off on the cop and then end up in the hole and with more charges? You know, and that's what they do. You know, there are decent COs. That's not everyone.
Mhm.
You know, everyone's not like that, but there's a good majority of them that are just trying to grind you to dust, right? To grind you to dust. My friend Aaron says it like that. Aaron Pella, he says, you know, they grind you to dust, and that's what they do. You know, so that's what prison is like.
Yeah. What was the craziest thing you saw in prison?
That happened so for that, I would have to peg it as it was in Orange County Jail, right? I saw a kid once get beat literally, we all thought he died, right? The whole Mexican car, and literally, if something's going on with another race, you just turn the other way and like continue to read your book, right? Like, so these type of violence happens and you just have to pretend like it's not happening, right? You're watching another man get jumped on, his head jump. This is what this is what happened. Like, he used another man's towel on accident, but it was like the rep of the unit, and like the dude politicked on him, and the dude ends up getting stomped on. Bro, he left the unit on a stretcher with his head looking like a watermelon, and I thought he was dead. Like, you look like he was dead, right? Turns out he ended up living. I seen him like a long time later on, but when you see that type of violence, uh, and then there was a lot of little things. Like, that was probably the most violent thing I saw, But then like there was times I was walking to chow, you're like, dude, someone just got stabbed on the way to the chow hall. And then there's you see the blood, or someone got beat up on the way to chow hall, and there's blood on the thing. It's just like, whatever, Like, you
Mm.
have to learn to just, it's cool, right? Like, it is what it is.
Were you ever tested?
Like a heart check?
Yeah, heart
Yeah,
check. Yeah.
so there's certain things you can't say, in prison, right? If someone calls you a bitch, like, you gotta take off. Like luckily for me, I was very cool. My paperwork was good. I was a good white boy. I didn't have any major problems because I kept to myself. But someone called me a bitch one time, and I immediately went up there and handled my business in the cell. And like, I remember, like, when people see you do that, like, they're like, hey, the dude's legit. The dude will stand up for himself. The dude will stand up. So, besides that, like, no one's ever like tried to rob me or anything. I had a good friend, like, because this is my first time in prison. Shout out to my boy Robbie Powelson, right? He took me under his wing early on and like told me things like, hey, if you borrow a peanut butter from somebody and you tell them you're gonna give it back to them on Friday, you better be there on Friday with that peanut butter, bro. No, and that was a real thing that happened. Like, I borrowed a peanut because he had, hey, did you borrow something from him? I said, yeah, I borrowed a peanut butter. He said, hey, you make sure you give it back to him, because check this out. I've seen people get beat up for less. This is a dude that came down from a United States penitentiary. I became good friends with him. So, he took me under his wing. We spent some time together. Um, you know, so I learned early on to do things like that,
Yeah.
And I was like, I was good. Like, I became friends with, again, in there, like you can't, like, I only got, like, my mother did send me some money, but like, to survive, like, you need a good amount of money and things going on. And, you wanna enjoy some vices too, a little gambling or whatever you're doing, right? Uh, so if you want something, you better hustle for it, right? I got a job in the kitchen. I started hustling. I was the dude too, like, literally, just like I do today. I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 2:30 in the morning. I've been waking up, bro, and I get to Redcon and I work. In there too, I would be the first one out on the yard because I wanted to hit the trash cans to get the tobacco that the cops were throwing out, and then come back and sell it in the unit because I wanted to buy food. I wanted to buy food. I wanted to have stamps.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do whatever I was doing in there, so I hustled for mine, you know. But again, I was able to stay away because I never got into big problems with people. I never
Yeah.
caused the problems.
Yeah.
So besides that,
So when you went into prison, you were put on, so you were heavily addicted to opiates at that point.
yeah,
You were put on Suboxone?
yeah, not immediately.
Okay.
First, I had to buy it.
From people in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
spent a lot of time buying it, if I'm being honest.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I didn't want to go through it. And again, like, bro, Suboxone, like, bro, I became this like super, bro, I read so many books. I worked out. I went in at 300 pounds, bro, close to 300 pounds, 280 something. And I was like, dude, I need to leave in the best shape of my life. I need to, right? I read a letter this morning that I wrote. I wrote a letter in 1/21/21. I'll never forget it. 1/21/21.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a letter right after I got sentenced to my future self, right? Because I want to make sure I remember the pain, right? And I also told myself, like, things I need to do during my time, and I did it, bro. Like, I left in the best shape of my life, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Like, I did that. So the Suboxone for me, like, again, I was self-medicating because the BOP wasn't giving it to me like they should have,
Okay.
right? They offer a MAT program, bro, and they need to get everybody on it because they're wasting time. They ended up giving it to me.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted, but it took so long. So many letters, so many cop-outs, so many visits to the nurse.
Yeah.
You know?
So, okay, you eventually get prescribed
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
outside of that, the day you were prescribed it, outside of that prescription,
Yeah.
now, to me,
Yeah.
that is sober.
That's sober to me.
When you
Yeah.
have a doctor prescribing you something and you're being honest with him
Yeah.
and you don't go outside of that
That's right.
prescription direction from
Yeah.
the doctor,
Yeah.
that is sober. And then you eventually get off of it.
Yeah.
And then you eventually
That's right.
are not on it,
Yeah.
not on any MAT program.
Yeah.
And today you are sober. You
That's
never
right.
used any mood or mind altering substances.
No.
So you
No.
technically,
Yeah. I don't know the date.
yeah.
I don't even remember the date that was prescribed to me. You know, I eventually ended up getting the Sublocade shot, which it's probably still in my system, bro, because it lasts over a year. Bro,
Oh,
that's
wow.
what they say, you know? So I feel good right now.
You got
know?
off of it over a year ago?
Yeah, about January. So a year ago was my last shot.
Got it.
Again, everything from the minute I touched Suboxone in prison, my life continued to get better, right? So, to me, that was sober.
Brother,
Right.
that is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
From what you just told me,
Yeah.
what you were
Yeah.
doing,
Yeah.
how you were using,
Yeah.
the life that you were living on a day-to-day basis to you got on Suboxone through a doctor eventually, you followed the direction, and then you eventually got off it. That's what it's designed to do. You're supposed to get off of it.
That's right.
I didn't use Suboxone. There's no one way to get sober.
Yeah.
I commend
sobriety looks
you.
different.
I commend you. And
Thank you.
I like your story is wild.
Mhm.
It's one of the crazier stories I've heard on Rise Above. But I also want to touch on you get out of prison. Now you are part of this company now.
Can I back up a little bit?
Sure.
Because I want to tell you why today I'm so positive and why today I believe in manifestation and positive visualization. This story, I'm like, a lot of people say, nah, you're bullshitting, right? But this is a true story on my daughter, right? This is a true story. So I'm going to back up. I get to prison, right? I tell myself I'm going to leave in the best shape of my life. I end up, so I do a year fighting my case. 121, I write that letter. I catch the chain. I get up to Herlong, California. I end up in a cell. First it was like an old man, but then I end up in a cell with a dude named Corey Leggett. What's up, Corey? Corey Leggett. He's probably home now, right? I get my mother. No, so he's super into working out. He works out every day. This is why I moved in the cell with him, because I was fat. I couldn't do a push-up. I couldn't do a pull-up. I would sit at the table and look at the dudes doing pull-ups on the stairs and be like, damn, they look strong. Like, those dudes are strong. I want that, right? I want that, right? And so I move in the cell with him. He's like, bro, you move in with me. We're going to work out. This is a big country-fed white dude, right? This is a big-ass white dude, you know? Bald, just big, right? I'm like, I want that, bro. I want what you got. That's why I'm moving in with you, right? That's why I'm moving in. I want to work out. He goes, if you're moving in, we're trust and believe we're working out, because my cellie works out. Like, my cellie is going to be strong. I was like, hell yeah. I was like, all right, let's do this, you know? So I move in. I'm like, man. So we're training every day. We're training, right? Burpees, just body weight calisthenics. There's no weights on this yard, right? A lot of federal yards have weights. There's no weights here, right? Most of the lower facilities have it, right? But here they don't. So I tell him, man, what's a good magazine? I want to get a magazine. I see all these guys with the workout magazines. My mom is cool. She'll send me a magazine. He goes, bro, the best magazine you can get is called Muscular Development. I said, really? I said, all right, I'm calling my mom. I call my mom that night. Of course, Evan, I'll send you a magazine subscription. She got 2 years of it, right? She sent it to me. Whatever you need. Now that you're doing good. I got your back. My mother always, you're always there, right? For me, she was always there for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I get this magazine. I'm reading it. I start seeing articles. Redcon 1. Mind you, I'm in California.
Say the name of the company again, Matt.
Redcon 1.
Okay.
Redcon 1 has changed my life, and this is how it did it. This is how it starts. So I get and I'll do a shout out in a minute for it, but I get the magazine, right? I should have brought the backpack in. I have a backpack in my car. I brought it with all the magazines and stuff from prison. So I get these magazines, and I start seeing articles for Redcon 1, right? And it's like protein and protein shakes. It was just nothing to me at the time. I'm like, whatever, Redcon 1. But I start to see it over and over again. So I'm like, I'm seeing it. These bodybuilders, Redcon 1, Kai Green, all these professional bodybuilders in the article. So one day, time goes by. I don't know how much time, but I'm looking forward to this magazine every month, right? Because it's like now I'm like, my addiction went from drugs and alcohol to diet and exercise, right? Because I start seeing my body change, right? That's when you start to like, okay, I love this. My body is changing. So I see an article one day from a man named Aaron Singerman, okay? And this is the owner of Redcon 1, right? He's writing an article from federal prison in Pensacola, right? He got arrested for selling pro-hormones. Pro-hormones were a class of drugs that were legal. They were like steroids in a pill, right? They were like oral steroids, right?
Like androstenedione, maybe?
Yeah, all those names, things like that.
I remember them.
They called it all the same names of the steroids, but they changed it a little bit. Dianabol pill, all these weird things. Anyways, they were legal though. The government steps in, makes them illegal, right? They made a certain class of them illegal. I really believe him when he tells me he didn't believe that the ones he was still selling were illegal, right? Whether he did or not, I got his back. So he continued to sell them, right? He tells me up to this day that he really believes that they made a certain amount of chemicals illegal, and he thought the ones he was still selling were still legal.
Yep, got it.
Mind you, the government does what they want. They said no, they arrest him, right? They're like, they end up busting him. He's in Pensacola prison now, writing an article how the government fucked him over and how everything he's going through in prison. I'm like, guys, look at this. This dude, the owner of Redcon 1, I'm telling all my friends in there. I'm like, dude, look at this guy. He's fucking legit. He's in the feds like us. He's into training. He's a bodybuilder. And he's writing these articles every month. Him and his buddy, PJ Braun, right? They were business partners in a company called Blackstone Labs at the time. So this is the company they got busted with is Blackstone Labs. Redcon starts up a little later. So he started Redcon after he got indicted for whatever. Doesn't matter. Anyways, so PJ Braun's writing an article. Aaron Singerman's. I cut out every one of their articles. My entire wall of my cells has their pictures up. PJ Braun, Aaron Singerman. Now I'm cutting out the other Redcon articles. Man, I have the 2 articles with me. I should have brought them in. But every morning I wake up, I see Aaron Singerman. Every day I go to sleep, I see PJ Braun and Aaron Singerman. I'm writing on my desk. I'm looking at them while I'm drinking my coffee. I'm seeing them, right? I'm like, mate, so they're in Boca Raton. I'm like, man, maybe one day when I get out, I'll be able to meet these guys. I'm going to tell them, man, you know what? Yeah, you helped my fitness journey. You're super cool. I was in prison and you helped me. I just want to tell them that. That's it. Long story short, time goes by. I lose all the weight. I get in good shape. I'm skinny. Let's not get it twisted. Because I got out of prison coming off a lockdown. So I get out super skinny. My mother said I look like a concentration camp victim when she picked me up from the airport. So I fly California to Florida, right? They fly me there. My mother picks me up. She drives me to a halfway house in Dania Beach, right? I walk into the halfway house in Dania Beach. I'm sure, I don't know if you've heard of it or not.
Yeah.
Okay. I walk into the halfway house. They search my bags. They tell me, go into the chow hall, go into the lunchroom and wait. I walk in there. No bullshit. I see PJ Braun with a Blackstone Lab shirt on, the guy that was one of the guys that was writing the magazine articles, and another man that I do not know. I don't recognize him. It's not Aaron Singerman, and he's wearing a Redcon 1 shirt. Bro, right there, no bullshit. I knew everything was going to be okay. Right there. I was like, this is exactly, it was like a serendipitous moment. Like, I was like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be, bro. Everything's going to be cool. Right there, I busted down. I'm like, dude, are you PJ Braun? He's like, who are you? How do you know me? I'm like, bro, I've been reading your articles. I just came from 3,500 miles away and I land here with you, bro. Please shake my hand. You've helped me through my fitness journey. I become good friends with him. And the other man is my best friend today. His name is Clarence Alexander, right? I said, bro, you know Redcon? He's like, bro, I work there. I'm like, dude, I'm fresh off the plane. You know, I look like a crackhead right now, probably because I'm all skinny. I got a hoodie on. I'm just a mess, right? I'm dirty. I'm like, dude, you got to get me a job, bro. I am the hardest worker. I will do anything. You know, I kind of came off strong, you know, and to this day we joke about it. He was like, man, I was not going to get you the job. He's like, bro, I was not. Dude, I was so hesitant. He's like, I was so hesitant. Well, 3 weeks of us becoming good friends, right? We became very good friends in the halfway house. You know, I'm telling him my story, telling him about this. I told him about this. He couldn't believe it. Nobody could believe this story, bro. I'm like, dude, I was like, bro, I will not let you down. I promise you, bro. You know, because, you know, he didn't want to bring me in and then it looked bad.
It's a reflection of him.
Reflection of him. Yeah, of course. I understood 100%, but I begged him, bro. I annoyed him till he couldn't say no anymore. He gets me the job. Kevin, I start out in the warehouse making $17 an hour, right? I literally become the hardest worker. Lance too. Lance is like just like me, you know, because he just did 16 years. He just did 16 years. He is the closest person that can relate to me, right? Because there's not many of us that have this drive and have this attitude. He is the closest version of me. So I immediately attached to him, right? Because he's like the hardest worker. He doesn't stop. He's willing to do anything. He doesn't use, you know, he's not doing anything that he shouldn't be doing. You know, I love it about him, right? And he has fun with his family and he's just a good person, right? He's an all around good person. And so I'm working with him, right? We're working in the warehouse. It is so easy to outshine all these other people in there, right? Because the kids today are so entitled. They show up late. They want to take extra 10 minutes at lunch. They don't appreciate shit. They don't want to mop the floor. I did everything that nobody wanted to do. I enjoyed doing it, you know? I would come on a Saturday at 6 a.m. to clean the parking lot, you know? There was like this piles of garbage from years of people neglecting it, and I did it all myself. You know, I cleaned the roof. I did things that these dudes were like, dude, this dude is, what's going on with this dude?
He's nuts.
He's nuts. And I was like tweaking out. I was just like so happy. Okay, so happy to do these things. So, long story short, I end up, I spend a short time. I get off of house arrest. I go to my mom's. I'm an hour and a half away. I spent months sleeping in my car in the parking lot of Redcon because I wanted to be the first person there and the last one to leave. No BS, right? This is before I met Jessica, and I'll make this real quick because I want to include her in my story. I know we're pressed for time. So I'm sleeping in my car in the parking lot, and I'm busting my butt. I go on Hinge, and I immediately meet Jessica, the love of my life, bro. And because I waited a long time, right?
How long ago was this when you guys met?
We met 12 last year.
Okay.
So it's just been over a year.
So 13 months ago.
13 months ago.
Mhm.
I immediately, bro, we click immediately. We like just everything about it, bro. The love of my life. I will never do her wrong. I love her son. Everything about her. She's a good mom. We both have been through some shit,
Mhm.
you know, so we're both just done with the BS, you know, and it's a good feeling knowing that I have a woman that loves me and only loves me, you know, because I spent a lot of time with girls that promiscuous and all
Of
that, and
course,
you
of
know,
course, of course.
and so it's a good feeling, and I know I'm gonna grow old with this woman, and it's not gonna be easy because we have so much work to do. I still have to get my kids back, which I'm working on.
Mm.
Um,
How oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I don't wanna
No, go ahead.
Jessica, it sounds
Yeah,
phenomenal,
yeah,
and
it is.
congratulations,
Yeah, thank
man.
you,
That
thank
sounds
you.
like a beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful story.
yeah.
I don't wanna take the shine away from
No, of
Jessica,
course, go ahead.
but I wanna ask because you talked about her
Yeah.
a lot in the story.
Yeah,
Stevie, how is she doing?
completely out of the picture. I don't know. She's in California somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't ask about her.
Yeah.
She is not part of my life.
Mm.
And I hope that she gets her act together, but it's never going to be with any concern of me,
Yeah.
you know, because, but I got 2 wonderful kids from her, and
Mhm.
I'm going to be a father to these kids,
Yeah.
you know, and I found a woman that's going to be a mother to them. So,
It's amazing.
you know,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
How's your relationship with your mom today?
It's awesome. She's my best, you know, we talk every single day. She's my best friend. It's better. She is so proud of me, you know. Mind you now, just so you're clear, 2 years later, I'm running the entire fulfillment center.
I was just gonna ask.
Yeah, I'm running the entire fulfillment center. I'm doing great. I have a great career, a great salary, and it's climbing, you know. And I never knew I was good at operations like this, you know. But I've transcended my skills from that type of stuff to legal good stuff, and I love it, you know, and I love it. Discipline, patience, persistence, gratitude, and resilience, you know, the 5 things that I've learned from prison that I took with me.
Dude, I'm really fucking proud of you.
Thanks.
I'm really, really proud of you. I feel like you had this work ethic and you had intelligence,
Yeah.
right? You had all these skills. And I was waiting in your story. I mean, of course, I know how the story ends because
Yeah.
it's just, you're on my
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
But like, it's always like, okay, well, maybe this will be the chance when he
Yeah.
moved to PSL,
Yeah.
when he moved
Yeah.
to Boca.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be the chance.
Yeah.
And you just couldn't jumpstart your
Right
life.
there.
And
Yeah.
then we just I can relate. We make those one bad decisions and it goes south real quick for us.
Fork in the road.
And then we have the compounded shame and misery that keeps us out there for longer.
Right.
Now you're wanted here, you got to dip out and bob and weave and go there. And now you're running from them and then you're running from them. And then you get yourself into a hole.
That's right.
And then you're just waiting for someone to come. And in your case, it was when the feds arrested you and
That's
just
right.
pulled you out
Yeah.
and did you a favor
Did me a favor.
in a way.
That's right. The worst thing that ever happened to me was also the best thing that ever happened to me because you don't know how grateful and how grateful you are and how blessed you are until everything is taken away from you. And I hope that people can watch this and see that it's possible for guys like us, right? Because getting out, like it starts when you get out of prison, right? There's so much. Your record does not have to define you, you know? And my record is my badge of honor because I beat it, you know? That's how I rose above.
You
know?
did.
Yeah.
It's your story. You're a
Yeah.
success story.
That's right.
And listen, there's a lot that our government can be doing for people who have criminal past, and it's tough for them to get a job. But what did you do? You went to the parking lot, cleaned the fucking parking lot when it wasn't your job.
That's right.
You went above and beyond.
That's right.
And in a couple of years, you've moved your way up to a management position at this company. You're killing it. 2 things that I want you just to highlight. Number 1, if people want to get in touch with you, what are your Instagram and your TikTok?
Reps to Redemption. REPS, the number 2, Redemption. for TikTok and Instagram.
It's both the same.
Yeah, I go live on TikTok every morning, 5 to 5:30 a.m. to about 8 a.m., talking about health and fitness, HRT, peptides, how to feel young forever. And then I also do on beating the odds, so.
And then number 2, you know, Redcon 1,
Yeah.
you did highlight them,
Yeah.
but is there anything you want to mention?
Sure. We got so much going on this year. We just did a collaboration with Hostess. We have cupcake flavored protein, Twinkie flavored protein. It's some of the best proteins you'll ever taste in your life. We have a new Jolt flavor, guys. If you grew up in the 80s and 90s and you remember and you know Jolt Cola, and it's back, and it's the best tasting energy drink on the market. You can get it now in any 7-Eleven across the country. It's phenomenal. Or you can come see me on TikTok and get it through me. I got all the new products dropping first on TikTok.
Dude, that's amazing.
So
keep doing what you're doing.
That's
and if
right.
you had one piece of advice before we wrap up to the person out there struggling where you were, call it 10 years ago, what piece of advice would you have?
Just don't ever give up on yourself, because there was a moment when I thought I wasn't going to make it, right? And it's possible if you stay positive, right? Don't beat yourself up. Don't stop trying, because if you stop trying, right, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? Wayne Gretzky said that. So if you don't take a shot on yourself, you're never going to get there. So
thank you so much for coming on, Evan.
Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah.